Much like pretty much everyone else, I was super excited for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Now, I'm not one of those people that despises the original 2016 movie. I don't think it's good, but I don't hate it. But at the same time, that was a very disappointing movie for me because if there's one comic book storyline I've always loved, it's easily The Suicide Squad. Just the idea of a group of villains being forced to work together and sort of growing a bond has always been something that I've loved, and it's really reminded me of other comic book storylines I've liked, such as the Guardians of the Galaxy, which was also helmed by James Gunn. And much like with Guardians, James Gunn killed it with this one. I loved everything there was about the Suicide Squad. It was probably the most Suicide Squad movie that has ever existed. And that's not meant to be a jab against the 2016 one. I just mean, I don't think there's ever going to be another Suicide Squad movie that is more Suicide Squad than this. It seems like he really understood the premise, he understood all the ideas, the characters and such, and really went all out in making an actual Suicide Squad movie. Because that really was the problem with the original one. It didn't really feel like a Suicide Squad movie. And much like I did before, I'm just briefly going to give my thoughts on the movie overall and rank it, just so that when I get into spoilers, the people who haven't seen it yet can just get my understanding. I highly recommend it. I say it's amazing. One of my favorite superhero movies. And if I had to give it a score, I'd probably say James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is a 10 out of 10. It really is next to perfect to me and is one of my favorite superhero movies. And so from here on out, I am going to be talking in-depth spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, please click away. And so to start this off, I want to talk about my new favorite character from this movie, Polka Dot Man. Wait a minute, who? That's right, Polka Dot Man, a character whose sole purpose is throwing polka dots at people. Now, while that might sound stupid and you might call me an idiot for liking this character, I think there's a lot of lessons that can be learned in understanding this character because he's just Polka Dot Man. Why is he so interesting? And I feel like it comes down to how James Gunn uses him as opposed to how a lot of other people view characters such as this. You see, whereas many other movies use the basic idea and powers of characters to sell the movie, what the Suicide Squad seems to do is take characters and make them characters. You see, while this might sound simple, it's actually something that a lot of people struggle to do. And in order for you to properly understand that, I'm going to point you to everyone's least favorite Avenger, Captain Marvel. Now, I'm not one of those people that despises the Captain Marvel movie. Much like with the original Suicide Squad movie, I feel that it's just an aggressively mediocre movie, and the same thing with the character of Captain Marvel, and that's really the reason why it sort of doesn't work for a lot of people, including me, when in reality a Captain Marvel movie and the character should be insanely amazing because of how fun of a character she is, not just in the comics but in a lot of other stories. And in the movie, she's a very blank and bland, stoic character that doesn't really emote and doesn't really have a storyline. But how does this relate back to the Suicide Squad and more importantly to Polka Dot Man? Because you see, what Captain Marvel can't do in its entire runtime, James Gunn and the Suicide Squad manages to do in just a couple of scenes with Polka Dot Man. You see, the problem that a lot of other people and myself have with the character of Captain Marvel in these movies is that she's such a silent, stoic badass and such a quippy signature character that she doesn't really have a personality behind all of that. Sure, she has sort of an interesting story, but first of all, that's never given center stage, and the genuinely good moments that could be in there, like her old relationship with one of her old Air Force buddies and her relationship with the Kree that had been brainwashing her, are all tossed to the side so that we can get just sort of an interesting and powerful character that really isn't that interesting. And that really sucks because, again, Captain Marvel can be a really interesting character, but because of how one note they make her, it creates a character that just isn't interesting to watch and doesn't have anything new to bring to the table. And now, with that said, let's bring it all back to Polka Dot Man.
I'm a superhero!
He should be yet another one-note character. He's just a weird, suicidal lunatic who wants to shoot polka dots. But it's what James Gunn does with that character that makes him so interesting, because of his arc over the course of this movie. You see, whereas other stories such as Captain Marvel are more concerned with showing you the superpowered person that is in control of all these powers, what James Gunn is more concerned with is showing the human behind it, the boy who was tormented by his mother and turned into a supervillain, all because his mother wanted to turn him into a superhero who now resents his mother. And sure, while that might not be groundbreaking or anything, it's something. It's something for us to get attached to, just to his character. Something that movies such as Captain Marvel are missing. Something that I would like to see in more movies, because it's the characters that we care about. And if you can't build likable and relatable characters, I won't care. Give us more characters like Polka Dot Man. Give us more characters like Bloodsport. Give us more characters like Ratcatcher 2. And give us more characters like King Shark. Give us more characters for us to care about and relate to. Because it doesn't matter who your characters are, it matters what you do with them.